The moment when humans stepped on the moon. The haunting eyes of this Afghan girl. The first view of Earth in space. These great moments in history were all photographed on Kodak film. But now, the name Kodak may itself become a part of history. The company announced last month that it's out of money. Zhonggui has been selling film for nearly 30 years. Business used to be good, but not anymore.
最高的时候一天1万多个胶卷，现在一天就是几百个吧，或者有时候一天就几十个吧。
Zhong says Kodak is still the best-selling film in his store, but nowadays only some professional photographers use film to get top-quality pictures. Most people switched to digital cameras years ago. In this entire photography equipment center, only a few stores remain that sell film at all.
This has all spelled disaster for Kodak, whose film business accounted for more than 70% of the company's total revenue. The arrival of the digital era brought Kodak's domination of photography to a halt with shocking suddenness.
Kodak was founded by George Eastman in 1881 and became famous for its wide range of high-quality photographic film. In the 1970s, Kodak commanded 90% of film sales in the United States and two-thirds of the market internationally. At the same time, the company also dominated camera sales with an 85% market share. But after the year 2000, film sales dropped dramatically, and Kodak began burning through its cash reserves. The company had $957 million in cash in June 2011, half of what it had 10 years earlier. When the bankruptcy announcement came last month, Kodak listed assets of $5.1 billion and debts of $6.8 billion. Its stock last traded at 36 cents per share. 8 years ago, it was worth $30.
It sounds as if you could simply blame Kodak's decline on the decline of film cameras and the rise of digital. But in fact, Kodak was one of the first companies to develop digital cameras. In 1975, Kodak engineer Stephen Sasson made the very first digital camera ever. So why did Kodak fail at the digital transformation it started?
As early as the 1990s, Kodak started its decade-long attempt to transition into digital technology. But at that time, the company's traditional photo film business still brought in billions of dollars in profits every year. Former Kodak Vice President Don Strickland claims he left the company in 1993 after he failed to get backing from within the company to release a digital camera.
We developed the world's first consumer digital camera, but we couldn't get approval to launch or sell it because of fear of the effects on the film market. A huge opportunity missed.
Kodak's competitors, however, saw the arrival of digital photography as a great opportunity to reshape the market in their favor.
总体上来说，全球的彩券生产，柯达是处于垄断性地位的，所以他作为一个垄断者，他不想轻易的改变游戏规则，但是作为一个后来居上者，大家都是觉得只有改变游戏规则，我才有机遇，我才有希望。
Canon released its first digital camera in 1996, and Nikon introduced the first digital single-lens reflex camera in 1999. Sony broadened its base from electronic games and entertainment and also got into the digital camera business. It has launched at least one new digital camera model every year since 1996. Even Fujifilm, Kodak's main competitor in the film business, has released more than 12 digital camera series since the year 2000. But Kodak continued to put most of its eggs in the photographic film basket. The company launched only 2 commercial digital camera models between 1990 and 1999.
做了一些很简单的数码相机，并没有真正就是下定决心的进入这个领大举进入，没有大举进入，因为大举进入会对它的胶卷，当初还是很好的产业，产生极大的冲击。
In the 90s, the production cost of digital cameras was very high. They normally cost more than $6,000 and were mostly for professional use. Though they weren't really a household product yet, the companies making them gained experience and entered the high end of the market. Kodak was beginning to lose ground.
The core competence for running a digital imaging business is very different from the core competence for running a traditional imaging business. For a traditional imaging business, you need optics, you need mechanics, and you need chemistry. For a digital imaging business, you need optics, you need electronics, okay, which Kodak is not good at.
In 2001, the sales volume of Kodak film dropped 2.8%, the first time it had ever fallen. And so Kodak finally made up its mind to move into the digital camera market. But why did the company continue to slide? Because Kodak made a huge mistake in its business strategy.
After spending a tremendous amount of money studying customer behavior and market trends, Kodak came back and ranked #1 in the US in digital camera sales in 2005. The problem in the boardroom was that this top position only brought the company $5.7 billion in sales, less than half of the revenue that used to be generated by film sales. So the company's leadership decided to move into new lines of business to make up for the loss. Beginning in 2005, Kodak poured hundreds of millions of dollars into developing inkjet printers and home photo printers. The company opened more than 8,000 express printing stores in China, hoping that printing out digital photos for customers would bring in higher returns. What Kodak didn't realize was that it wasn't just cameras that were going digital. People's whole lives were going digital.
他认为说，好吧，胶卷你能替代，你还是要冲出来吧，对吧？你不冲出来，你怎么看呢？对吧？但是他没有意识到消费者的观念在改变。我可以在电脑屏幕上看，我可以在笔记本电脑上看。他更没有想到是乔布斯会在2010年推出个第3个移动中的，你可以在 iPad 上看。
And its move to enter the inkjet printer business didn't end well either. On the one hand, that market was already dominated by big players like Canon, HP, and Epson. And on the other hand, the new internal emphasis on printing devices meant that Kodak lost its leading position in digital cameras. In 2007, Kodak slid to #4 in US digital camera sales with a 9.6% share, and by 2010, it fell to #7 with only a 7% market share, behind Japanese brands like Canon, Sony, and Nikon. In the Chinese market now, Kodak cameras only have a 1.3% market share. Major electronics markets haven't sold Kodak cameras for 2 years.
它可能产品稍微少一点嘛，可能卖的不是那么好。
你说单反的话，肯定做的最好的是佳能和那个尼康嘛。卡片机嘛，索尼话也许做的不错，但是柯达真的是让我想不出有什么太大的亮点。
现在日本的数码的产品更新非常快，然后把柯达就一直止步不前嘛，它几乎没有出数码机。
It seems a pity that the Kodak brand may disappear in the near future, but it also seems to be the inevitable result of a company failing to innovate and adapt to a new environment. Kodak has now obtained a $950 million debtor-in-possession credit facility from Citigroup to boost its liquidity and working capital. But is there a future at all for a brand that recorded so many moments in our lives?
Kodak says it believes with the money from Citigroup, the company has a fighting chance. It will have enough money to operate its business and to pay employees during a Chapter 11 reorganization. And the bankruptcy covers only the US company. Subsidiaries outside the US are not subject to the proceedings. The company will seek to sell its 1,100 image processing patents to raise some cash. Kodak's headquarters in Shanghai declined to discuss any of these details with Money Talks, saying a final rescue plan is expected next month. If its creditors don't approve that plan, the company will be liquidated. That's a process everyone would prefer to avoid.
In Chapter 7, the company basically gives up all its business attempt and will hand over its management to the creditors. It will go through a liquidation process, and which is very painful and truly damaging to everyone, creditors, shareholders, and staff.
Still, experts are not optimistic about the company's future.
I think if Kodak can find a buyer for its patents, for its real estate assets, right, and for its other businesses, that would be the best solution for Kodak, because there is no product that Kodak has in its portfolio that looks like a blockbuster product that could help revive the company for the future.
Experts say, in fact, Kodak's problems are typical of those large companies facing the digital era, where new technology develops quickly and innovation is vital.
你不能狭窄的定义，把你的一切的生意定义在你的技术上，而是要定义在你这个领域上。成像作为一个领域， 而不是说化学成像或者数码。如果他当初意识到数码成像可能是未来的话，他可能会转型，他可能会找到战略伙伴，老早做出这样的布局。那么今天柯达可能就成为一个单反机，甚至今天的像那些微单，这些照相机的领先企业。
But how to keep innovating in order to keep a leading position in one's business? Some corporations set up venture funds to invest in small companies.
Over the last 10 years, Intel has invested about $10 billion in small companies. And as these companies grow, Intel has a very early view on how these technologies are developing. Okay, so Intel, the main reason why Intel invests in these businesses is to learn.
And to avoid innovative ideas being killed by a nervous corporate board, experts suggest setting up new companies to undertake major new business ideas. This is what HP did when it went into the computer printer business, and it worked very well indeed. Unfortunately, Kodak did neither of these and so missed its chance to enter the digital market successfully. Does anyone remember the old ads that asked us to hold on to every Kodak moment? Well, unfortunately, the Kodak moment is gone because the company didn't realize their business environment was changing and it did not have the nerve to take advantage of their own in-house technology. They gambled on the past instead of the future. There are now lots of big successful Chinese companies and big successful foreign companies working in China. Let's hope they're all looking over their shoulders at this sad example of Kodak moments gone by.